Welcome to the 9 Patchalong 5.0. This is block number 1. Today we're going to be machine quilting using the Sway 5 machine quilting ruler, the Sway 3 machine quilting ruler, and also my Mark Be Gone marker. Let's hop over to my Gamble 22-inch machine and let's get stitching. Welcome to the 9 Patchalong 5.0. In this series, we'll explore 9 unique 9-patch machine quilting designs, perfect for quilters of all skill levels. To get started, you'll need a few essential materials and supplies. We'll be using the Sway machine quilting rulers available at peaceandquilt.com and marking our quilts with the blue Mark Be Gone marker. To remove the marks, mist the area with a solution of 1 cup water and 1 teaspoon baking soda, repeating as necessary until the marks are completely gone. The batting we will use is Quilter's Dream wool, and the threads are so fine and the Super Bob bobbins. All of my quilting is done on a Gamble 22-inch machine, stitching in the stitch regulated mode at 13 stitches per inch. Each design is taught by me, Natalia Bonner, using these machine quilting rulers, ensuring you achieve the best results. Quilters of all skill levels and machine types are welcome to join, but you must have a machine in good working condition, a basic knowledge of ruler quilting, a ruler foot, and base plate. Additionally, the piecing pattern and design workbook for this series are available for purchase at peaceandquilt.com. Let's get started and create some beautiful quilts together. I'm going to start out the 9 Patchalong block number 1 by using my Sway 4 machine quilting ruler. Now I'm going to actually do quite a bit of marking, probably a little bit more than is actually necessary, but I want you to see what it's like, the real process of designing and machine quilting quilt block designs. I want you to get comfortable using the Sway machine quilting rulers and really start being creative and have fun with them. The more you play with them, the more fun they do become. This is the Sway 4 machine quilting ruler. I have designed all of the Sway machine quilting rulers so that hook end on the ruler is designed for marking. The concave side of the ruler and also the circular end are designed for quilting. This is the Sway 4, so I am marking perfect 4-inch circles or curves, and then the other 2 sides of the ruler are designed for quilting. So what does that mean and why is that important? When machine quilting, you want to take into account that you're going to be using a ruler foot on your machine. The ruler foot will add 1/4 of an inch to the side of your ruler. So if you marked your curve with the exact same curve that you quilt with, it's not going to end up the same. So use the hook end of the Sway machine quilting rulers to do a bit of marking. What you can see here, I am using that hook end. Through the hook end, there are a few marked lines. These lines indicate the center of the circle that hook end of the ruler creates. So as I'm laying this down on my block and marking, you'll notice how I'm flipping it back and forth to draw these circles. Right through that circular end of the ruler, there is a horizontal straight line and also a vertical straight line. I'm lining those lines up right on top of the ditch on my pieced block, even though you all know I'm using a panel here. But I'm lining it up and then simply using the blue Mark Be Gone marker to mark a curve. Now I'm using the places where the 4 blocks come together and lining that up. So that's my 4-inch circle that I'm going to be quilting will quilt right around that corner. And you'll notice around the outsides of the block, I am also repeating the same process, flipping that ruler and marking half circles along the outside. So we're going to speed this video up for a minute here as I continue working my way through and marking all of my quilting first. Now I'm ready to begin quilting. I like to quilt my quilts from top to bottom, left to right. So here I am starting in that top left corner. You can see that I have already quilted that background filler, well, actually that outside border as far down as my throat space would allow on the left side and across the top. We do have a free video tutorial on our website, peaceandquilt.com, for all enrollees in the 9 Patchalong 5.0 to take advantage of. So starting at the top of that block, you can see that I'm starting using that concave side of the Sway 4 machine quilting ruler, and I'll work my way across, moving from left to right across the top of the block. Then, once I've worked all the way over to the right side, now I'm going to start to work across the second row, creating that second set of circles. Now notice how I'm going to work in kind of a snake pattern. By doing this, it makes it so I don't actually have to stitch over any of my lines more than once. So there are a few things to pay attention to here as I am quilting. Whenever machine quilting with rulers, first off, remember gentle pressure. You don't want to be applying really heavy pressure on the ruler or on your machine. The more soft and fluid you can become, the better your results will be. So the next thing, always hold your ruler 1/4 of an inch away from where you want your thread to intersect. So remember, we have that ruler foot on the machine, so we've got to take into account that 1/4 of an inch. So to quilt using the Sway machine quilting rulers, and here specifically the Sway 4, I'll use that circular end of the ruler, and on that end I can line up. So again, those marked lines right through the center of the ruler, there's a T and also an X. I'll line that up right on the corner where the 4 blocks come together, just like I did when I was marking. And then I can quilt around that circle. When I want to use the ruler on the concave side, I'll simply make sure that I am holding my ruler 1/4 of an inch away from where I want my thread to intersect, and then quilt along that concave side of the ruler. So you can see how I'm going to be machine quilting right on those lines that I have gone through and marked already, but ensuring that I'm using the circle end and the concave side of the Sway 4 machine quilting ruler. So as I've worked that snake pattern across my second row all the way back over to the right hand side, then I'll repeat that process, this time just moving down to that next row. Notice how I will stop and reposition my ruler anytime I've reached maybe like 1/4 or a halfway around the circle. If I feel like I need to readjust, I will. However, anytime I do readjust my machine quilting rulers, just make sure that you stop with your needle in the down position. I will occasionally, when I get over to the side of the block, travel up the ditch. A lot of times you'll notice in my quilting, I'll use my ditches as a place to travel. I love using just that straight side of the Sway machine quilting rulers then to travel along my ditches. So I'll continue on working down to that bottom row on this block. Now this time I'm going to use just the circle end of the Sway 4 machine quilting ruler to quilt those point-to-point curves all the way across. The circles that turn out on this quilt are so cute. You can see how that wool batting just gives it some yummy loft and texture. So one of my favorite things about the 9 Patchalong each year is that really the sky is the limit. You can do whatever you want with these designs and really start to dress them up. I love just being creative and having fun with machine quilting. So I'm going to dress this design up even more. Now I'm going to start using the Sway 3 machine quilting ruler and adding in just a few fun point-to-point details. So this time I've started in that bottom left corner, and I'm going to work back and forth using that circular end as well as the concave side of the Sway 3 machine quilting ruler to quilt first along that bottom side of the block. And you can see I'm quilting these point-to-point curves. So from the top down to the bottom, across, up to the top of that circle, and repeating that process until I've worked all the way over to the right side of my block. Then at that point, I'm going to travel up to the next row and repeat that process. So as I work across that second row, again, notice that snake kind of pattern that I'm working in. By following more of a snaky pattern, and when I say snaky, I mean like I'm not coming right back to where I started. I'm trying to be more fluid and kind of slither along with my line. But by doing that, I feel like you just end up with a little bit nicer overall look and design with curved lines. So this is a point where I do highly recommend grabbing your companion design workbook and draw arrows, make notes as to the path that I am quilting this design. I don't add notes or arrows in there because I want you to make it your own, because you can really follow any path. As long as you don't lock yourself in, you can have fun and just be creative with these designs. So always remember, when using machine quilting rulers, make sure you have that ruler foot on your machine. Use gentle pressure and then hold that ruler 1/4 of an inch away from where you want your thread to intersect. This block turned out awesome. I hope you can really start to see how much fun you can have with these Sway machine quilting rulers. All right, so you know that I love the look of Stitch in the Ditch. I am going to go through and finish off this block by stitching in the ditch. If you don't love the look of Stitch in the Ditch, you could leave it as is. I'll see you all in 9 Patchalong block number 2.